Let's get more now on the breaking news we brought you a little earlier. The American singer Tony Bennett has died at the age of 96. His publicist confirmed his death. It happened in the hometown of New York. Tony Bennett diagnosed with Alzheimer's in 2016. The singer released more than 70 albums and won 20 Grammys. Well, let's speak to Kelly Allen, the celebrity editor at Fabulous magazine, who joins us now. Kelly, this was an incredible singer, an incredible act. We're talking about a man whose career spanned 7 decades.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think people sort of forget what an impressive career he had. He released over 70 albums. He had 19 Grammys. I mean, he continued to break records right up until he retired. He retired in 2021, but like in 2014, aged 88, he broke his own record of being the oldest living artist to have a Billboard #1 album. So he was someone that just loved performing, and he kept doing it up until 2021. He was diagnosed with Alzheimer's in 2016, and I think it just became too hard for him to perform. And he did some performances with Lady Gaga, and after those, his son announced they were going to be his last. And I think that's the thing. It's not just the long career; it's how he sort of went across generations. Because certainly collaborating with people like Lady Gaga and actually Amy Winehouse as well brought him to this whole new sort of market that maybe had never really heard of him or his music before.
Yeah, he wasn't really the master of reinvention because he stayed the same. He stuck to what he knew, which was the great American songbook, but just had this knack of being able to find new audiences for it. Frank Sinatra, you know, he's up there with the likes of Frank Sinatra, but Frank Sinatra himself described him as the best singer in the business.
Yeah, he really did. I think that's the thing. Frank Sinatra said that. He said his music moves me, and I think that's where it's interesting. Obviously, Frank had that sort of drama in his public life. Tony really just let the music sort of do the talking for him. It was more about doing his performance. He described himself as a tenor who sings in baritone. He was just, it was sort of the same thing, but people loved it. It's a weird thing because obviously nowadays we have so many sort of reinventions, and people don't tend to have that longevity of sort of crossing sort of people's lives. Like some of his fans now were grandchildren of children who'd originally listened to him when he first came around.
Yeah, he performed for every president from Eisenhower to Obama, which just puts his career in context. And it was the second act of his career, Kelly, that saw his, his most critically acclaimed success in the fact that, we say he won 20 Grammys. Only 2 of them were before the age of 60. It was when he was older and he went to these younger audiences. You mentioned Amy Winehouse there and Lady Gaga, but also the likes of the Red Hot Chili Peppers as well.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. It's sort of that thing that he brought these new younger like listeners in. There's always such a thing about music is for the youth, and sort of going into your 60s you'd probably be thinking, oh, maybe my career's over. But he absolutely sort of brought these new young females and like people like the Red Hot Chili Peppers in. I mean, Lady Gaga has always gushed about how amazing he is, what a sort of mentor he's been in her career. And I think with Amy Winehouse as well. I mean, Amy in her the film, I can't remember the year of it showed them together performing together, and she talked about what an impact he has. And I think that's the thing. He wanted to give back to the music industry and help the next generation. Like, I think he sort of fed off the energy of working with them and collaborating with them, and I think that's why he sort of had this longevity. It's just very sad. His birthday was actually in 2 days' time. He was set to turn 97. So we found out about his death today, which is very sad.